everyone, today I'll be teaching you how I set up the scene for some of my images, and today I will be working with these gorgeous diptyque perfumes given to me by Diptyque Paris. I will leave a link to some of my posts about them below, but for now I'm really excited to show you how I make the images that you guys see on my social media. Start off by gathering up my materials. I find objects of varied textures, colors, and opacities that help fit the theme and help tell my story. So here today I'll be posting about these diptyque perfumes, and I'm utilizing a hat, a shirt, a bunch of cosmetics, this alabaster dish, a bunch of ivy that I've been growing, a mirror, a quilt, and a little bit more smaller objects like this perfume, rings, and some metal purses. Next step is to set up your base. Here I'm using a mirror and a quilt, but you can use anything like an interesting rug, wooden floors, grass or a mossy spot on the forest floor, or even a white paperboard. I like to lay things like this quilt and vintage mirror together for an interesting kind of blend of textures and more freedom with my camera angles. After setting up the base, add your framing elements. These can be anything large, long, or repetitive like rows of cosmetics, a string of lights, or even ivy as I've used here. I also utilized a shirt with an interesting sleeve and some ribbon to kind of add another layer of interest to this image as well. The next piece is to place your focal points. In this image, the focus I want to have is my diptyque perfumes. So as you'll notice, I've started to scatter them across the mirror to just kind of highlight where I want them to be and start getting a little bit more of a feel for how I want the image to look. I like to subtly emphasize my focal points and my focal objects with supporting objects like these sterling silver heirloom kind of elegant vintage looking bowls. How many adjectives can I use? This large alabaster stone dish, as well as these metal purses that just sort of help fill out the image and add a little bit more interest. Next, I fill in the gaps with smaller objects just to kind of help take up some of that space and fill in visually any spots that might be kind of empty looking. It just helps add a little bit more balance to the image. The last step is to always make sure that you balance everything. So I like to space things out pretty evenly to make sure that there are no like gigantic gaps in the photos and that everything is equidistant from one another, so there's not like weird divisions between things. And this is the finished product. So as you can see, I filled in all the spaces, kind of varied the height, the textures that I used, switched between the organic and inorganic elements, and the mirror adds a really interesting layer of kind of reflections, perceptions, and all that to add depth to the image. So I hope you really like this tutorial and let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you!